Welcome to SJ Talks. This is Krishna Manohar Badeti with another new leadership podcast series today. Today we are joined by Mr. Mashkoor Bhat, a seasoned professional in controls, KYC and compliance with over 12 years of experience in global banking and from due diligence to governance, audit readiness. His journey reflects strong expertise in building frameworks and ensuring trust in financial operations worldwide. Let's welcome Mr. Mashkoor Bhat on SJ Docs today. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Krishna. It's great to be here.
Got it. So that's relating to your career. I just want to have a couple of questions. So, Mr. Mashkoor, you've been like over 12 years in compliance and as well as controls. That was a remarkable journey. So, was there a defining moment that shifted you from frontline KYC work into becoming a governance and quality assurance leader?
So, Krishna, if I take you back to my corporate journey, so I started with Yes Bank many years back. So I was in the front end of say Yes Bank, where I would go out, do account sourcing, and worked at Yes Bank for a year and a half, then segued into investment banking. So my core experience in KYC started with Deutsche Bank. Then I continued that with Goldman Sachs. So to answer your question, so I was pretty much into, say, the execution part of it, which was into running KYC checks on corporate clients. Did that for probably 5-6 years. So then I had this fleeting thought that why do I sort of still do execution part of it? I should be the other side of the equation, which is to understand the governance part of it, which is to understand the policy part of it. So when you are in the execution team, all you are concerned is the delivery. You want to go get your work done, that's it. But if you want to understand the entire framework of AML KYC compliance, right, then you want to be sort of, you want to learn the governance part of it, which is the quality assurance process, which is the compliance part of it, because you want to understand the end-to-end of it. Rather than doing the process, you want to understand the why behind it. Why do you want to do it? What is the policy requirement? What is the regulatory expectation? So for me, that was the defining moment. I was like, enough of doing the execution part of it, but let me understand, why do I do it? What is the governance requirement? What is the expectation?
That's an inspiring story. That's what you said. So it shows like how frontline KYC shaped your path into governance.
So normally it is a normal progression. It's like you are an analyst, you perform KYC on, say, clients, or let it be any type of work, right? But when you become seasoned, when you become mature, then you need to sort of take bigger projects, important tasks, and from KYC execution to QA governance, that's a normal progression. And also somebody who would want to kind of see themselves taking bigger opportunities in compliance space, QA, which is like running quality checks, that is something they need to take at a certain point of time, because that shows their maturity, that shows the fact that they have understood the business well, they have understood the KYC requirements well.
That's a good answer. So that's relating to the KYC and control and the governance, what you have done at. So you have worked across the different banks, right? That's starting from S Bank, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, and now with Wells Fargo. What personal habits helped you to adapt and thrive in such diverse global banking environments?
See, for me, honestly, if you ask, all these big MNC firms, right, every organization has a unique culture, right? And I think it is very important for us to adapt to the culture, like each organization brings, for example. So for me, starting from the days of Yes Bank up until my current firm, which is Wells Fargo Bank, I think what is very important for me is the element of curiosity. I'm always open to learning new things, and curiosity as in what is there for me, for example, to sort of understand what is happening in a particular process, what is it I can learn from this process. And in general, I like to interact with people. I thrive on social interactions. I think that helps me understand the team dynamic really, really well. So I think it's a mix of these factors put together. It is an element of curiosity. I like talking to people. I like interacting with people. That's second. And third, I would say openness. I'm open to learning new things. I think clubbing all these factors together, I think, all these things, all these sort of habits shape me up and also help me adapt to the different cultures across different organizations.
I like that the personal values clearly helped you like how to thrive across working different banking domains. I mean, it's like banking cultures. That's what I can say that, right?
Of course, and also see, every bank, so one of the important things they expect from you is to follow the ethos, follow the rules and regulations, right? And also, you go to office, you put your head down, you work, uh, and also, like, as a person, you got to be accepting of people who they are, because all these corporates, they're so diverse. So you need to ensure that you sort of mingle with everyone, you talk to everyone, you understand companies' policies, the expectations each firm has from you. So I think that's how you sort of blend yourself. Otherwise, it gets difficult. Yeah.
That's looking back. What was the most challenging transition in your career, and how did you overcome it?
So as I told you, so I started from Srinagar. Like, as I mentioned, I was working, with Yes Bank for some time. It was I was in retail branch banking, where I worked for maybe a year and a half, and then I segued into investment banking. So for me, I think the immediate challenge was to sort of relocate from Srinagar to Bangalore, and to and I was at Yes Bank. It was retail branch banking, setup. So I had to unlearn, certain things, and then I came to Bangalore, started my journey with Deutsche Bank, like the hardcore, investment banking, new clients, new expectations, new culture. So for me, probably that was like a watershed moment to sort of unlearn certain things, jumping into the unknown, and yeah, then from there it was like onwards and upward. So yeah, because couple of things. One was jumping into the unknown. Second was uh, relocating, leaving certain things behind. So that was quite a moment, I would say.
So that's powerful. Where I can see that overcoming through transitions. It's like the toughest transitions.
Yeah.
Shows that's your resilience in your career. So
course.
that's good to know that. And Mashkoor, so you have led panel discussions, right? So on executive presence and self-advocacy specifically, how has that shaped your own leadership style? And what does self-advocacy mean to you? And how important is self-advocacy in the current times when working in places that's so diverse, right?
So for me, self-advocacy is you sort of speak up for yourself. And the second thing what you mentioned is executive presence, right? It's more about, you should have your own brand. You should sort of have your own brand equity, right? And I think both these features, both these characters, I think we need to sort of incorporate in our personalities, particularly when we work for, say, corporates like any MNC firm. I think you as an individual will run into a lot of situations where you feel sometimes you're working but your work is not getting noticed, right? So I think in those situations it is very important that you understand that what, you need to speak up for yourself. And also in a diverse work environment, it is very important that as a leader, if there's a group of people reporting into you, you need to ensure that all of them have a say in say decision making. You talk to them, you sort of listen to them. All of them should feel confident that they can walk up to you and talk about any problem. And I think when we have a motley group of people, a diverse set of people, when we have different viewpoints, I think we have better outcomes. So I think diversity is very important in today's work environment, because it gives better results. And same is true with brand equity. I think you may be having the best product, but unless you know how to sell it, I think it won't take you anywhere. I think it is very important that you have your own brand equity. And brand equity, I don't mean that you have to sort of forcibly go out and sell yourself. I think what is important is that you invest, in yourself in terms of pumping in right values, pumping in right amount of confidence, getting the right amount of knowledge, be in the company of good people, carrying the company's ethos, representing company in its true spirit, for example. So that's how you become like a genuine representative of your firm, and displaying honesty and integrity. So all these things, when we club together, I think they sort of make a good brand. So that's what I meant, like brand equity and executive presence. So both these topics are very, very important to me, and or I would say personal to me, because self-advocacy in today's world is really important, and not in, say, corporate world. I think in general also in our personal lives, right? Like if I'm married to somebody, if I'm dating someone, right, I need to have a say in what is happening around me, right? I cannot sort of bottle up my emotions, right? So as long as I'm fluid in terms of how I speak, I can talk, and I can talk say without hesitation. I think it leads to healthy discussions.
Okay. Looks like your self-advocacy and presence clearly shaped your leadership style. That looks like could see that.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mashkoor, so as we were talking all about your KYC compliance and the governance, like how do you handle work pressure in a healthy way?
I think probably if I ask the same question, to you, I think in today's world, if you ask me, I think what is important is you sort of have a disciplined approach about work, and you gotta prioritize your stuff in a way. As in, like if you talk about me, I always pick up like the high impact items first if I have to deliver, on the same day, and that's one. So staying disciplined about your work, that's one. And second is if there is something which is sitting with me for, say, some time, and it needs management attention, I'll proactively sort of flag it off to my management, so that they don't come back guns blazing. So flagging it as and when it is required. Second is staying disciplined about your work. You should know what you're doing. Like it's like you wake up in the morning, and then you plan your day. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get to work at, say, 11 in the morning. So this is my bucket list for today. This is what I need to do. So, and then you kind of keep tracking it throughout your day. And I think if you're able to do it successfully, then I don't think you will run into a pressure cooker situation. But other than say work, so what I do in my personal capacity also is, so I'm a marathoner. I run every day. I run for like 20 minutes, without fail. So I think running sort of helps you. It makes you mentally very, very strong. And so that's second thing. And third is I do a little bit of yoga every day for like 5 to 10 minutes. I think these things are very, very important. But for a lot of people to run into stressful situations, I think one of the reasons is that they don't plan their day, in an organized way. I think that's what happens. So when the work sort of piles up, right, then you don't know sort of what to prioritize, what to do, and you run into kind of chaotic situation. But as long as you are disciplined about it, you sort of prioritize it productively, I'm sure you won't run into any unwanted uncomfortable situation. But then running, yoga, I think these exercises, they do help, because I think running makes you mentally very, very powerful. You can take on any situation.
Yeah, that's good, kind of a strong habits what do you have.
Yeah.
That's good, sir. So Mr. Mashkoor, so probably I just want to go ahead in your career wise. That's what you've been dealing into. That's the compliance, the controls, right? So probably I have a couple of questions in relating to this. So as you've been an associate vice president at the moment for Wells Fargo, right? So you're driving automation and controls, right? So can you share a story specific on how technology has transformed the compliance efficiency?
See, off the cuff, I can think of honestly, tons of examples. But so what is relevant here is, as you know, technology is inevitable, and compliance is, where, like, I'm a part of compliance. So I'll tell you, I'll probably tell you a couple of examples where we recently had certain elements of our processes automated. So there were a couple of processes which were like really manual, really tedious, and we were like literally running from pillar to post, like what to do and stuff, and it was eating up our resources completely. So then we thought of semi-automating our processes, and then we leveraged our Alteryx expertise. We leveraged our Python expertise, and we were able to semi-automate these processes, and it sort of helped us free up our resources, and also helped us semi-automate these processes. And then we were able to streamline these processes and stuff. So I think automation is the future. You cannot take it away. It is inevitable. It is going to be part of every equation. So it's a future friend, if you ask me. And it's not only say compliance. I think every aspect of banking or every industry, every say business line is going to be operating hand in glove with technology going forward. And as you mentioned, AI is our new friend. It is going to be all over the place. So be it compliance, be it controls, be it KYC. So what is important for us is to ensure that we bring in the right talent, which has the right technical know-how in terms of say AI and automation. That's one. And second is also our current employees who are with the firm for say 10 years or 15 years. They are also trying to sort of learn AI and automation to stay relevant, because otherwise you are going to be having a difficult conversation with your management, right? So AI is going to be part of our lives, and it is going to stay like that for probably we don't know.
That's kind of a great example, I could say that. So technology really can transform the compliance efficiency. That's what it meant to be.
Oh, of course, it has done. It is going to do. And as I gave you a couple of examples, right? So these processes were nothing but our controls we had in our say control space, and we wanted to kind of bring in automation to ensure that we were able to semi-automate these processes, and we managed to do it. And we're doing that. Say we're actually testing it in every process to kind of see what is it we can sort of automate. Where do we bring in the element of efficiency? Where do we save our times, our FT strength? So yeah, those conversations are happening. Yeah.
So and another one more question in relating to this, the compliance. So Mr. Mashkoor, you have worked closely with the regulators and as well as auditors, right? So what's the biggest insight you have gained about balancing compliance with the business priorities?
See, honestly, now both these functions, right, compliance and business priorities, they look as two. When you talk about these processes, right, like it's like these two functions are different on paper, right? But then if you ask me, I see them. I don't see them as opposites. I feel like they are part of the same equation. It is just that we need to sort of balance them properly, which is, I cannot bring in a client unless my KYC is done. So I need to ensure while I do my business, I'm also compliant with my internal controls. I'm also compliant with my control policies, right? So uh, the right approach would be, we do business, we do bigger and better, but we also need to ensure that we are compliant with our banks policies and regulatory expectations. Because if I bring in a wrong client, and if, say, client is not healthy in any way, for example, client is having a bad history, the money client is bringing in is not legitimate, there are other concerns, then that is as good as we going down the drain, because there is an element of risk, right? So I think it's always about balancing these two, because compliance and business, they go hand in hand. There are some situations where we sort of reach out to compliance, asking them for some comfort in certain situations, uh, but that's rare. But when it comes to you know meeting the regulatory expectations, our internal policies, our internal controls, our internal guidelines, I don't think we will cross that. So we try to accommodate our existing or new client relationships uh, by meeting our current standards of internal controls.
That's a kind of a valuable answer which you gave. So balancing compliance and with business priorities is it tough, but it's vital. That's what you meant.
So yeah, exactly. No, when you look at, say, from banking landscape perspective, right? Uh, you cannot, say, be aloof to what your regulation tells you. If Krishna is my client, and uh, there is a hit on you that you are not a healthy client for the bank, I cannot bring you in, secretly open a banking account for you, for example. I need to ensure that while I get to into the books of my current firm, we run a proper KYC on you. So that's where I need to kind of manage my business as well as my regulatory expectations. And these days, if you ask me, regulators are very, very stringent. They're going to mark you down, they're going to penalize you, and you don't want to be facing their wrath for unnecessary reasons. So you can afford to lose few relationships, as opposed to facing heavy fines, and then getting your name say circulated for wrong reasons. And I think that has happened to a lot of banks, a lot of firms these days. So you want to ensure that your business is healthy, your client relationships are very, very good for the bank, and then you take pride in that.
Yeah, that's kind of a good example again. So probably I'll step in back to a couple of questions relating to the youth. That's a couple of advices which I need that from you. So this would be something this way. So what advice would you give to the young professionals aspiring to build careers in compliance, governance, or risk management, or not in?
No, I think all these subjects are very, very, say, important. I think for anyone and everyone who would want to, start their journey in, say, in KYC, compliance, risk controls. I think what is very important is they sort of understand the regulatory, landscape, be it local or be it international. They need to know what is happening in Singapore, what is happening in the States, what is happening in UK, what is happening in, say, for example, the European Union, or in our own country. So that's very important to understand regulatory expectations, to understand regulatory landscape, right? And also then to kind of, so that will help them get the fundamentals right. So what is KYC? Why do we need to run KYC? Uh, what are good elements? What are bad elements? Right? Then they sort of tie these things together, and once they get that understanding right, then I think they're off to a great start. And then, of course, additionally, if they would want to kind of do certifications, I think that will help them gain that credibility when they're applying for a job. So I think I would say give it a shot. It's a healthy work environment out there. As long as you bring something to the table, I'm sure you'll be lapped up. Your peers, your managers are going to love you for the talent you have.
Good. That's an encouraging answer which you gave. So your guidance will keep young professionals seeing like compliance as I could say a rewarding career path rather than to be a good
Oh,
path.
of course. I think every firm be it a bank, be it a non-bank, right? Be it, say, any pharmaceutical company or any company for that matter, you have to follow, you know, certain regulation, right? So if you are a bank, then of course, RBI is there. If you know you are into telecommunications, then TRI is there. So everywhere you have somebody watching you. Let's kind of keep it like that, right? Somebody is always watching you, and you need to kind of ensure that you understand the policy, right? You understand regulations, correctly. And then now what happens is when you're working for a bank, right? Here the stakes are more, right? If it's a small company with a say uh, balance sheet of maybe $100,000, the risk is not that much. But when you're talking about firms like big MNC firms, big MNC banks, right? So the stakes are high. So you need to ensure that you know your job, the risk element, what compliance is, how to sort of look at your clients, and then run KYC checks properly. So all these career fields, be it risk management, compliance, KYC, or into control space, I think these are very, very relevant. Though they're all interlinked, but then from a career perspective, I think they're pretty rewarding. Let me put it like that.
That's kind of an inspiring one. So probably I'll just want a couple of questions relating to especially for the youth. That's what I said, right? So which project I consider, which project or initiative you are most proud of, and what lesson would you want the students or professionals to learn from it?
Krishna, I think if you ask me honestly, I don't remember how many projects I would have done, but I think
At least initiative.
No, I would say one of the projects we did in our KYC processes was that we tried to digitize our KYC process. What it essentially meant is, before we, had digitized it, we were sort of, reaching out to different regulatory platforms or different approved sources. Will fetch KYC elements, different KYC information to kind of complete our KYC files. Post our digitization, I think we were off all the manual work, so we would hit the bot, and this bot, which we created within our KYC systems, would run to different approved KYC or regulatory platforms, bring in the different KYC data points, and will help complete the KYC file probably in a shorter time. So I call it the digitization of KYC systems. So the key learning from this is, however much efficient and smart your systems are, there is always scope for innovation or bringing an element of disruption. So I would say that's what my learning was. That before we kicked off the digitization process, I was like, this is the best system we have. But then only when we sort of pulled in different thoughts, and we kind of realized we can make this system more versatile, efficient. And when we managed to do the digitization, I was like, this is amazing. So the learning was that there is always room for doing better. There is always room for bringing in the element of disruption or innovation.
Okay. That's again an inspiring one. So being proud of a project shows how lessons can guide others.
Yeah.
Get it. Probably that's another one more question. So with certifications, you got many certifications in AML, KYC, and leadership, right? So how important is continuous learning for professionals in today's evolving compliance landscape, I could say that?
So if I give you my own example, right? So though I have a couple of certifications here and there, uh, as I mentioned sometime back, certifications will help you gaining that credibility, gaining the understanding, getting the fundamentals right, no doubt about it. Then you kind of get your foot in the door, and then you start working, right? But then what is happening is our work environments are now they're ever changing. Everything is changing on daily basis, right? So you have got to kind of stay relevant, and to stay relevant, I think it is very important to kind of keep learning. And learning won't only happen through books. I think we are talking about big, big firms, right? And the talent is so much in these firms. Uh, if I talk about myself, many years back, I was, always so much of, I was overconfident, thinking that I know it all. But then when I saw people around me, it was like uh, people know a lot of stuff. You have so much of talent. People are from different universities. They bring in a different skill set. So I think learning from each other is very, very important. Learning from peers is very important, and keep exploring, different opportunities is very, very important. So once you have all of it together, your certifications, you're learning from peers, you sort of reading news, uh, or you're learning what is happening in AI space, then bringing in, say, the element of AI certifications if you have. So I think all of this together will sort of help you operate like a shark.
That's important. That's what you said. So continuous learning is truly the key in today's fast changing the compliance world.
Yeah, for example, now if you tell me somebody who is with an experience of 10 to 11 years and has has no clue about what AI is, right? For say a person uh, in that category, I think it's going to be difficult to kind of see themselves working after 10 to 15 years from now, right? Because they won't be relevant, right? So they have to jump into the unknown. They have to learn what AI is, probably bring in different courses, do some certifications. I think that's how they're going to be, staying relevant. Otherwise, right now, if you see, uh, we are bringing in AI into every activity, every business, in each firm or every firm. But 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, it is going to be really, really difficult. I mean, it's going to be AI all over the place. So you have to kind of breathe AI, you have to kind of smell AI. So it's going to be, you know, you have to kind of blend yourself.
Now, that's a kind of a good answer for in regards to the AI. Also, that's how it's evolving at the moment. So that's trending. I could say that. Good. So, and well, thank you so much for being on the show and sharing all your insights in relating the KYC compliance and as well as the governance. That was an insightful conversation with Mr. Mashkoor Bhat, whose career shows how compliance and governance safeguard organizations while enabling growth. So his experience across global banks highlights the importance of risk awareness and integrity. So thank you for so much listening to SJ Talks. Stay tuned for more such leaders shaping the future of finance. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mashkoor, for being on the show today and giving all your experience in relating to the compliance, KYC, and as well as the governance.
Thanks, Krishna, for having me. I think you're doing amazing work. I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people out there, and look forward to have many more sessions like this in future.
But certainly,
Thanks a lot.
we would like to have it.
Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you, Mashkoor.